For me. What's going on, beautiful people? It's a late night, as you can see. It's actually only like 8 o'clock. But I was walking around at Target, finishing up the last of my little steps for the day, and I figured I'd start a YouTube video because I had some stuff that I was contemplating about, and I figured, what better way is there to start a random YouTube video than a late night talk with the boys. So you guys are gonna sit here because they can't really talk back to me. So it's honestly low-key just me talking to, well, my phone. Anyways, I was talking a little bit with Ella today about the state of social media and kind of its impact on the world. Really kind of discussing BP, and I think it's the way that it's kind of impacted people. And it's kind of funny to me because I think BP, the black pill specifically, is, for those that don't know, I'm surprised if you wouldn't know at this point, but black pill is the idea that your looks are like, I mean, first of all, it's like a genetic thing, but you're going to get treated better if you look better. You're going to get treated worse if you look worse. And it's kind of how the world works. It's like pretty privilege is what it's called. And the funny thing is, like, this is something I think it was an unspoken thing that almost everyone on the planet understood. I mean, look at Hollywood. Hollywood has always been a perfect example. There's tons of degenerates in that space, but they still have platforms, they still make movies, and they get away with it because guess what? They look good, and they can kind of get away with more shit than less attractive people can. And this is, again, something that I feel like most people kind of always understood. So I think the issue is, like, we've kind of brought this issue into the light more so. So the people who are still living in like the Lulu world kind of are now more desperate than ever, to say the least. And I think as a result, desperate people are easier to also, what the fuck is going on over there? Walking? Like, what is going on? There's a bunch of fucking children walking in the middle of the night. Okay, well, fuck, I don't know what they're doing. Either way, what I was trying to say is, like, it's something that we've already known, right? We've known this for a while. We understand the pretty privileged thing, but now more people are desperate, and desperate people are easier to sell to. And as a result, I've seen more and more ads are related to gambling. The gray market peptides gear is starting to be even more normalized. And the truth of the matter is, social media senses the desperation of people, and social media kind of creates it. So they're creating a demand for products, and then they're also simultaneously selling the products to fix everyone's problems. And that problem is people's insecurity. And I think the cure to most people's problems is heavily reducing the social media time. As much as that might affect my viewership, you know, the ability of me to do my job, make content, I would rather the people who follow me have the same understanding of how social media is impacting them, because I do my best to really heavily reduce the content that I consume, and I spend a lot more time trying to create rather than consume. And I think if you're going to be on social media, you might as well be trying to create and not be a consumer, because I think being a consumer and doom scrolling endlessly, doing nothing with your life, is not a great rabbit hole to go down. So either way, don't let social media fool you, or not even fool you. Don't let it suck you into this dark idea of what life really is like. Like, yes, the pretty privileged thing is real, but like, it doesn't mean that you can't get a girlfriend. It doesn't mean that you can't have fun in your life if you don't look like fucking Brad Pitt or some model from some designer fashion week that you saw on a TikTok edit. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like, there's so many people who are happier, so much happier in life than you, and they're nowhere near maybe as good as looking as you, but they've made a name for themselves in other places. Because again, looks aren't everything, because guess what? Looks fade fast. So it doesn't matter how pretty you are when you're in your 20s. When you're 40 years old, you're probably gonna look like a bag of milk, unless you're Asian or what is it? It's like it's really fucking weird, sayings, but it's like Asian don't raisin, and then black don't crack. White people age like milk, so I'm cooked. I'm gonna fucking age like milk, but it's all right. It's all right. I'll just get shredded, so it won't matter. But anyways, that's my little rant. It's only like a 5-minute little, not even a philosophical rant. It's more just like me just trying to help people not be victims of consumerism on social media. So whatever the fuck that's called. Anyways, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go watch anime with Ella because we've been obsessed with a show called Psychopaths. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna fucking pick up that mango passion drink, which I'll put you guys on. I don't think it's here, so I'm gonna have to go to another store. So I'm gonna pick that up, and then I'm gonna go home, and then I'm gonna hang out with Ella because she's the best girlfriend of all time, and she's so cool. And yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. I was just glazing her because I can. She's the best. All right, so I'm taking you into Hy-Vee. I'm gonna go get my drink. There it is. Whole thing has 35 calories. So it's 5 calories a serving. This whole thing doesn't get much better than this. Also, we're gonna do a really, really healthy thing, and we're gonna walk to the bakery, and we're just gonna stare at food. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah. Yo, how much protein you guys think is in this French silk pie, cake, whatever the fuck this is, pie? Goodness. 7-inch chocolate truffle bomb. Wait, layers of chocolate cake filled with both chocolate cream and chocolate mousse. Oh my goodness. They lucky nobody's behind this counter because I would have snagged it. Goodness. Oh my goodness, bro. Why do they have like a progression of like frosting? They go from like barely glazed to a little bit of nut and then a lot of nut. Oh, and they even have these sticky pull parts. Oh my god, bro. All right, eating disorder time. It's over. But now we're gonna tap in. I'm gonna drink like half of this and I'll give the rest to Ella because she loves it as well. All right, guys, what is going on? It is now currently, I think, 2 days since I filmed my last clips, but we are going to actually go do an upper day. Before I do, I'm going to tap into YSL Y EDT. Okay, not EDP. I think EDP is very overrated. Also, Ella does not like EDP, so I'm going to fucking do EDT. And by the way, let me show you guys something. I'm going to show you how not to drown yourself, all right? Because I think most of you guys put way too much on. I like to go 1, 2, and then 3, 4. That's it. Okay, this is not like we're going out to a social club. You can maybe argue about spraying more for other colognes and stuff like that, but if you have a good, strongish smelling cologne, you don't need more than 4. Okay, so you just do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Done. Okay, that's it. Now you smell good. Unless you don't take showers. This is not going to save you if you don't. But yeah, don't give people headaches, guys. It's kind of fucked up. But either way. Oh, an endocrine disruptor, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, okay? That's what I got to say to that. Why did you do the hormones? You smell like shit. Anyways, we are going to go do upper, okay? I had to take the day off yesterday because of Ella. She got a surgery, so she's chilling now, though. She's just recovery. She's still able to, like, do a little bit of movement. It was, not a crazy surgery. It's just had a, what's it called, a deviated septum. So she got that fixed. So yeah, anyways, now we're going to go do upper. We're going to enjoy our session today. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. This is a typical day today. There's nothing really going on crazy. I did a little client call earlier today, walking through leg extension form and squat form, teaching him how to keep his joints stacked over each other. So knee over the ankle, in line with your femur, just like basic stuff like that, and kind of walking through. He's been having knee pain, so nothing crazy though. It's been a basic start to my day, answering clients and doing my thing. So that's either way, we're gonna get going. I already had my cream of rice like an hour ago. I took my pre-workout. I got my jug of intro workout. It's just Gatorade powder and creatine. I got my cologne on, so we're ready to go. So let's go do it. All right, we made it to the gym. The situation stabilized. That was my impression of energetic. It was terrible. But anyways, we are at the gym now. I am low-key feeling kind of hungry, which sucks, but it is what it is. I had to answer a few more client messages that took a little bit longer than I thought it would. So yeah, it's been a little bit longer than I would have typically liked between my pre-workout meal and training, but here we are. So yeah, we're gonna, I guess, go in, have a good session. Just being really, I think I've been really locked in recently with my training. Like I don't know how to describe it. I just feel like previously I don't feel like I 100% was pushing myself. Also, did I leave my headphones? Oh, we're so cooked. Oh. It's fine, we don't need it. I don't need it.
Don't need it. I don't need it. I need it!
Wait. Yeah, baby! Old habits die hard. I left the hoodie in here, and that's where it was, so we're not cooked. As I was trying to say, my workouts have been very, I know the word. I really don't. They've been on another level, though. They've been really, really good. And I just feel like previously I had gotten comfortable with seeing reps slow down at a certain pace, and I was like, all right, we're good. But I don't know, recently I've just been pushing it to another level, and I think it's a good representation of how even somebody who's a little bit more advanced than the average person can convince themselves that they're training harder than they are. And I want to encourage you guys to also really, when you go into the gym, to really be as objective as you can and really pay attention to your rep speeds, because sometimes I think people just slow it down because they know deep back in the back of their head, they're like, if the reps start slowing down, that means I've pretty much hit task failure, and then they just give up. Or they convince themselves they can't do more. And they set themselves to this number, this standard. They're like, I'm gonna get this number of reps because I know I can. And I think it's good to have a gauge of your own strength and to have, like, you know, realistic expectations. But I also think that sometimes people set these expectations that are realistic based on what they perceive rather than the actual objective truth. So be as critical as you can of your training as often as you can. And take some time, step back. Sometimes you need a form reset. Sometimes you need a fucking intensity reset. You need to re-gauge your intensity and re-teach yourself what your actual tolerable perception of effort is, and tell yourself to stop being a little baby bitch. Like, it's okay to know what the evidence says, but it's also okay to be a little bit like Delulu, right? Just a little Delulu. Be like, go in there and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get a fucking extra rep. No, you're probably not. But we're gonna go in there and try anyways, right? Like, that's the goal. So if you keep having the mindset of, you know, trying to be the physiological exception while simultaneously still understanding that you aren't, I think is the best approach. You just low key go in there and tell yourself that you're better than you are, and you try to perform to that level. You keep setting a higher ceiling for where you want to be, and eventually you reach it. And then you set a new ceiling, and you keep going, and over, and eventually you have more muscle than TNF in 2 years of training. I'm joking. You will not do that. You will not. You will be lucky to look like, I'm not gonna say any names. I think that's just mean. Almost said a name. Anyways, let's go into the gym, bro. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of trying to be motivational. Fuck you guys. I only care about myself because I'm low-key just so egocentric and an SBL chud. So we gotta unchud myself and lock in. Bro, I dropped my fucking thing right there. I don't even know if I can get that. All right, low-key. Let's see if we can reach it. Yeah. Oh, thank God. That would have been really bad. They try to break me by design, but I am the nightmare that will haunt you in the night. If that's one that you want, then I'm ready to play, and the world's gonna know my name, know my name, know my name. Through everywhere that I go, every failure I fall,
dug myself out from the dirt. With every scar I will vow to shake the earth. Unless it's blood that you want, get the fuck out my way, 'cause the world's gonna scream my name. Scream my name. Scream my name. Through everywhere that I go, every failure I fall, every crack in my bones, I'm untouchable. Like a sleeping grenade, built to blow you away. Pull the pin, I explode. I'm untouchable. I will never be silenced. Untouchable. You can't let it go, the price that we pay. But I am the ground from which I came. You reap what you sow, we don't bleed the same. 'Cause I own the rights to my own fate. But I sleep like a king on my deathbed. Everywhere that I go, every failure I fall, every crack in my bones, I'm untouchable. Like a sleeping grenade, built to blow you away. Pull the pin, I explode. I'm untouchable. Every mile follow, every failure I fall, every crack in my bones, I'm untouchable.
all that jazz, then so be it, right? A lot of those things also happen to motion with the line of
All right, so once again, it is multiple days after I filmed the last clip. But before I end this video, I really wanted to touch on a ongoing debate that kind of recycled in the fitness industry, and that is the whole biasing the chest, what you need to do to maximize the chest. And I was going to kind of walk through a few of the different ways that we can train the chest, and then how we can effectively program around understanding these like actions that the chest can do, and then you can make your informed decisions as a result. So first things first, you don't need to do every action that the chest does to have a massive chest. In fact, there's a lot of people who are gonna have fucking insanely developed pecs from doing just like basics. And that doesn't mean you will, right? It doesn't mean that you necessarily will, but it means that, you know, some people are just gonna be able to grow a muscle without really trying. It's kind of like the case with Lex Little. If you actually believe he's natural, I don't have any real reasons to suspect that he's not, because he was competing in federations that were testing him. So again, I'm not going to get into the debates about natty or nuts, but if you look at like a case like Lex Little, he barely even had to try, his legs fucking exploded. So everyone's going to have like one or two muscles like that where you just don't really put much work into it and it's going to grow. Either way, the chest, let's go back to talking about the chest. Muscle actions, okay, things that it can do. It can horizontally adduct, right? So it can bring the arm to the midline, right? Because the insertion of the pec, it sits on the humerus here, right? Then you have the origin, right? Now, depending on where or what part or what region we're looking at, the origin is going to change. Everything is going to somewhat originate on the sternum, though. Even part of the clavicular, like upper pec region, is going to it's going to have a little sternum origin, and then the costal, so like the lower portion here on the rib cage, is going to have a little bit on the sternum, but mostly on the costal cartilage, and that being your rib cage. So what does it do? Okay, I already said horizontally adduct, right? So now we're going to look at the clavicular. Well, its insertion gets pulled towards the origin, so it's going to do this. Okay, now yes, it does do this as well, but it's probably going to do this a little bit better, mainly because you have competition from other muscles to do the same competing task. The anterior deltoid is going to be a larger section of muscle with larger amounts of force capacity. So it's going to do the job of pure shoulder flexion a little bit better than the upper pec. And that is actually correlated with EMG data. A little bit of EMG data. There's not really much dynamic movement happening in that exercise, but we can see just based on some of the data that we do have around like force production, length tension relationships, size of the muscle, and EMG, it kind of points towards the front delt being the prime mover, and then the upper pec, depending on the degree of abduction, can be the prime mover as well. Hence why I think having a slightly abducted arm, doing both tasks of adduction and shoulder flexion is probably your best bet. Now, for the lower pec, you can kind of do the same, or the opposite, I should say, thing as shoulder flexion. You can do shoulder extension. Now, again, having a component of adduction is going to limit the contribution of other muscles doing shoulder extension, like the rear delt, the lats. Again, the point stands of like having just a little bit of adduction with that main, or I guess the secondary action that the muscle does. So like as a whole, you have to understand though that the pec is one muscle. So it's not like you turn off regions in favor of others. Even though it is technically an antagonist action, it's still, the upper pec still has some level of activation, though minimal, right? Like you can do this, get to the end range here, and your whole pec is going to contract because of adduction. But either way, point is, those are the things that you can do. And those are the 3 things that you should probably do if you're trying to hit all of the heads. But that kind of goes back to my earlier point. You might not need to, right? Like you might really only need one of these exercises, right? Or I guess 2 of these exercises along with horizontal adduction, because some people are just going to have very developed or very bubbly muscle bellies with certain muscles, and the chest is no exception. Like you might just have like a massive mid to low pec, right? And then maybe you just need a little bit more upper pec. And in the case of that, I mean, you just do an extra exercise, use some shoulder flexion, right? You can do like a incline press, or you can do a low to high fly, and you're good. Other people are going to have a big shelf here, but they're going to have kind of a flat chest down here, and for them, doing some kind of a pullover or a high to low fly or a decline press along with horizontal adduction is probably what they're going to need to do. But again, you don't have to do everything, right? Like there's no reason to like overly prioritize a muscle region that just already is developed. Unless you're just trying to overdevelop it even more, go for it, you can, but you don't need to, right? And I think that's the context is going back to what you need to do, what you're needing to program. And I think you can make so many arguments for what you want to do, but if you're looking for development, looking for well-rounded development, you definitely can argue that there is not a need to train certain muscle actions for specific muscle regions, like going out of your way to like do a specific setup with shoulder flexion where you have some adduction. You don't need to go out of your way to do that if that muscle region is already big. Same with the shoulder extension. So in the end, those are kind of the things that you can do. And I don't think there needs to be that much, fighting and bickering over it. So that's going to be the end of the video. That's all I got for today. I'm going to go do my upper session. I was going to try to film a lower session before I leave for New York, but I don't know if I want to fucking film a YouTube video and edit and all that stuff. I got other things I got to do. So I don't know when I'm going to make my next video. But we shall see. I'm trying to be somewhat consistent with these. So hopefully we can get some kind of content out from this New York trip. Either way, it was good talking to you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time. Peace.